Crochet. How is everybody today? So I'm going to first tell you, Roy is washing the camper, so you might hear that noise. I hope it's not too... Oh, that's going to be loud. Hold on. Okay, so thanks for holding. Roy is washing the camper. He just was doing by this window, so it was very loud. The window I'm sitting next to right here. So I want to welcome you to my channel. My channel is a crochet channel and a travel channel. Mostly it started always as crochet, but within the last few months, this year, this year my husband and I bought a camper, and we are traveling. We traveled from February through April in this camper that I'm currently sitting in. And then we came back to Ohio, our home state, and we lived in our other camper for the summer, which was going to be our plan. Travel in the winter in this smaller camper. It is a 28-foot Alliance Delta Ultralight RK234 if you are a camper person. We love it. We lived in it from February through April when we came here and went back to our 11-year-old, so 2014 Keystone Hornet hideout with a bunkhouse, and that is a larger camper. According to the stats of the camper, the box of this camper is only 4 foot smaller than the box of the other camper. I find that really hard to believe. But that's what the stats say. Anyway, this is this is our new home. Excuse me. So, we leave here in 2 days in this camper. We sold the hideout, and as far as the size goes, this one just looks way smaller inside and out. I will insert here somewhere a picture. They pulled the hideout out of our spot, the new buyers, and there's a picture of it up on the hill, leaving us. And I wasn't sad. I thought, I might be sad when they pulled that camper out, but I was not. So it's a good camper. We liked it. We liked it very much. It served its purpose. And now we're on to the next chapter of our life, and that one is bigger than what we need, and we're not coming back to this campground in Ohio. We are at a campground called Cuddy's Sunset Resort, which we love. Another pop-up. We love it here. We have friends here. We've been here since a year before COVID. So what, 2019? Nope, 2018 I think we pulled in. 2019. is when we came here. And the campground is nice. They have activities. It's inexpensive. If you are a camper and you're going to be in the greater Hartville, Ohio area, south of Akron, it's a nice place to come. It's not like you're living in a parking lot. And we see a lot of campgrounds that you pull in and you feel like you're in a campground or in a parking lot, and that's not how this is. And so we like it here. I would rate it high. Excuse me. It's not fancy by no means. And everybody's pretty relaxed, and most of the campers are permanent. But there are a lot of weekend campsites too. So there's my little plug for Cuddy's. And they have been wonderful with us and our transition into moving campers and, leaving leaving them and not coming back. But when we leave here, Ohio is here on my map. We're going to head down towards Florida. As you can see on my map, we have done and slept in. If we have spent the night in a state, it gets a license plate. And we have spent the night in all of these states, including Texas and a couple up here. But then all of this country, we have not. So we are going to be heading back down through the states we've been in and across over somehow back into, well, we're going to spend the winter on this coast, but then in the fall, no, spring, winter and fall on our own coast over here. And in the spring, late winter and early spring, we're heading up. We're going to be in Arizona for a week. We're doing this coast. So we're going to do some of this coast and up to Alaska by June 15th-ish. Visit friends there. We'll be visiting friends in several places throughout the country. And then we're going to come back starting like August 1st. And we want to do some of these states on our way back to Ohio. And then we might buy a house. Depends. I think we'll be ready for more space and permanent living again. It's nice to have a permanent home, I think. We were gone for 3 months and I enjoyed it very much. Our travels when we left the first time. We're anxious to get going again. But I'm already anxious to start making a home again. I don't know how to explain that. I can't wait for our next adventures, and we're going to take you along and show you what we're doing. And then we're going to come back. And we'll still have our camper. We'll still travel even after we buy a house. We really don't want a winter here in Ohio. It's cold and snowy and yucky. So our tentative plan now is that, even if we buy a house, we're going to leave December, January, maybe November, December, January, February, whatever we want, and go south for the winter and then come back to the house and spend the summers here with the family. You miss a lot when you're gone, and, we don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I know I'm already missing them and we haven't left yet. So that being said, they are coming to visit for Christmas. We have plans. We rented condos for Christmas, and a lot of the family are coming down to spend Christmas with us. So that'll be fun. And I think my daughter and my oldest granddaughter, they're still talking about coming to Alaska when we get there, flying in for a week or whatever they can. So that'll be we'll be able to see them. But I know by the time we get back to Ohio, I'll need some good family time. They might not get rid of me I might just crash on everybody's couch for a while. We'll see how that goes. So now, as far as crochet goes, I finished something. I did. I finished my Frankenstein blanket. Do you want to... Well, first, so I'm cleaning out because I can't do things. I can't store things. And it's really kind of silly to do this. But these are all of the ball bands, and I didn't count them. But these are all of the ball bands that I've used, including from scrap balls, because that's when I would add up the total of what I had. If I had a ball and I haven't used it all, I kept the label with it until it was done, and nothing more than stuffing for a amigurumi. And that's when the ball band goes in here. I used to keep them in a big cheese jar. Well, I put them in here. These are all the ball bands of what I've used this year. It looks like a lot. It looks like a lot more than what I actually made. I mean, I feel like, God, these are a lot of ball bands. I didn't make that much stuff. But this is all the ball bands, and they are now going to the trash. And I kind of want to sit down and add up how many ball bands and how many yards of yarn. I just don't know that I'm going to have time to do it, and I don't want to find a spot to carry it because I am filled to the brim. I have, we're going to be putting paper products in the car. I just don't have space for, but I'm still going to need, and so I don't want to throw it out just to rebuy it. If it's, I didn't realize when we moved we took all the paper products with us from the house, and we used them, you know, paper plates, plasticware, garbage bags. And we went through a great deal of that while we were gone, the first 4 months. And then I came to the hideout and realized that I had a whole stash stored in the large camper. I didn't remember that I had left all of the things, like a year's supply. So now I have a lot more of that than what I thought I did. And I don't have the space for it. So there's that. So some of that's going to live in the car. When we travel, we know stuff is living in the car. There's not much storage in this camper. It's more seating and comfort, but not a great deal of storage. Not like Nancy's new camper. She bought a beautiful new camper for her new home. Nancy from She's Got Yarn. If you haven't seen the video, go watch it. I got some nice tips from her camper guy, too, on things that I didn't know. But we have for clothing storage around the bed. There's cabinetry around the bed. A cabinet about this wide on both sides of the bed, and then one that's about this tall above the bed. So on my side of the bed are my clothes, and on Roy's side of the bed are Roy's clothes. We have a bin. It's like, I don't know, 8 inches tall, that we put all of our shirts and shorts in. Pants, whatever you can get in that bin. And that goes in the above the bed thing. So you can pull it out and find what you want to wear. And we had like 2 weeks worth of clothes stored in those spaces on the way down. But we had a bin full of clothes of like sweatshirts and, you know, change of season clothing, coats, that kind of thing. We still need that space. That hasn't changed because, you know, you're still getting in the 30s sometimes, and even in Florida, and 50s and 60s, you want like long sleeves. So but then we're going to be hitting warm weather, and we won't be home to change out the clothes. So you got to take it all with you, all season clothes. And so things will live in the back of the car. Our change of weather clothes, our change of weather shoes. Like we have rain boots, and you know, when it's muddy and yucky out, you don't want to wear tennis shoes. We have those things there in the car. I have a bin full now. And most importantly, my yarn. There's going to be a lot of yarn in the car. So the car is going to be pretty full. And as I use up the yarn, when I get to Boggy, some of the yarn will go away. I'm traveling a box of stuff from Nancy to Laura from Mamie's Crochet and Farming in Alaska. I was supposed to, because we were supposed to go to Alaska this summer, but we postponed until next summer for a bunch of different reasons. But we are definitely heading there next summer. So back to, I'm not storing these. And I don't think before we leave here I'm going to have a chance to add it up and count it up and all of it. I might count the ball bands before I throw them away. I probably will, but I don't think I'm going to add up the total yardage. And included in those ball bands is at least one ball band for my Frankenstein. This big 16-ounce, 1 pound of the Dollar Tree yarn when they had that $5 Dollar Tree yarn. This is his hairline. Look at that. He turned out kind of cute, right? I only gave him one scar. I will put up a picture and I will stand up and hold it. But he's got eyeballs. Here's his face. And he does his bolts down here at the bottom. And I did take a picture of Roy holding him yesterday, and so I'll put that in here. And it's adorable. I think it's adorable. So cute, so cute. But let me stand up and hold it for you. Maybe I'll throw it on the back of the couch over here. And don't mind the mess when I turn you, because I don't have a tracking system like Nancy does at first. Let's see if I can get it to stay on the back of the couch. Nope. He does not want to sit there where you can see his hair. Okay, never mind. I didn't want to put my big buns in the... But... So this is what he looks like. Oh, I don't know if I can get all in there. And I can't get it to want to stay on the couch where you can see. So I'm really happy with them. I only did the one scar. I found it to be a pain in the rear. But he's cute and he still looks like Frankie. He's not scary. Oh, there's Roy. I hope you can hear me over the... Just hold this up. So this is going to go to the kids at Boggy, and I can pack that in the Boggy Creek Blanket bag that I have. So what is Boggy? Boggy Creek Camp. Camp at Boggy Creek is a camp for chronically ill children, and I donation crochet for them. And a lot of us do. We have now the Boggy Blanket Brigade. We started Nancy from She's Got Yarn, myself, and Billy the Crafty Floridian 4 years ago. This is our 4th annual Boggy Blanket Brigade donation collection. If you make a blanket 35 to 40 wide, 40 to 50 long, make it out of acrylic or cotton. Definitely try to avoid animal fibers. First of all, you don't want to use your bougie yarn. This is going to kids that are 6 to 17 years old and chronically ill. They get to go to camp. Camp is free. Free to the families. Free to the kids. Camp is not free. Camp is paid for by donations. And when they get to camp, they choose their blanket in their cab, or their bed in their cabin, and there's a handmade, knitted, crocheted, woven blanket on their bed, and that's their forever souvenir. They get to take it home with them. So they go through a lot of blankets a year because every kid gets a blanket. Excuse me. So every Wednesday we go live on... Billy has kind of taken a step back, and we have replaced her with Lynanne from Nina's Knots Crochet, and Jaxie joined us this year when Juan took a step back. Jaxie from Creations by Jax, and Juan the Yarn Addict. He still makes a ton of blankets, and he's doing tutorials for us. And I think this week the live is on Jaxie's channel. We'll go to Jaxie's house, and Nancy opens blankets that have been sent in, and we get to see them and be inspired by them to make more. We have a challenge this year of blankets, smiley face blankets. Frankie is a smiley face blanket. It's my challenge to you to make a smiley face blanket. I wanted a cabin full of smiley faces. I thought I had this big yellow, big twist, big 1 pound ball, and it just kept staring at me saying, "You look like a smiley face. I want to be a smiley face." And so I made it into a smiley face. The pictures I took of it are terrible, but I will try to maybe insert that over here too. But it's just a big old smiley face. And we have gotten, I think, close to 24. I think there's 24 smiley face blankets have been sent in so far. And that's just totally awesome. It's just fun. I think, cabin with everybody getting a smiley face on their blanket, on their bed would be cool. So that's a challenge, is to make a smiley face. And it can be a circle. My Frankie is a square because Frankenstein has a square head. And that green yarn just was saying to Trish, she's the one that gave me the idea, it looks just like Frankenstein's face or a witch. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Okay, we're getting a smiley face Frankenstein. And so that's how he came about. We have a Facebook group page We have a swag shop. We have the Facebook group page. Everybody just brainstorms and shares their work. When we do the lives, that's the whole idea, is to share your work. We have a playlist because there are designers that have made blankets specifically sized to Boggy Creek. They have a free tutorial on their channel, and you can make blankets or anything. I mean, it's there. The tutorial is free for your use for any reason, not just for Boggy Creek, but to drive business to those channels that have kind and generously created blankets for inspiration on how to, on blankets to use. So we have all this stuff is in my description box of all my videos. I think everybody has them there. So you just click on the Boggy Creek playlist, and there's a bunch of blanket tutorials there. We also have, if you email Jax of Creations by Jax, and I think on her website, we have had 2 ladies create Grafgan designs, and they are wonderful and beautiful. I'm working on one that has little graphs to sew together. I haven't worked on it in a bit because I've been really busy. I haven't made a video in a bit. With emptying out the old camper, getting ready to leave for the season, not coming back here, that was a last minute decision. We thought we might come back here for the end of the summer, but it's just not going to work out for us to do that. So then we're like getting rid of all of our outdoor stuff. We've been here 6 years. We have, or 7, whatever it is. We have outdoor furniture that just stays here and lives here. Before we had grills and grill gazebos and a deck and lots of stuff that now we need to get rid of or give away or store, or so that was a lot of work. And selling the camper took longer than I anticipated. Emptying it took longer. Everything takes longer than I anticipate it's going to. So we've been just really rushed. And we bought new phones. This is my first video on my new phone. Just give me a minute. First video on my new phone, which I'm still trying to get used to. It's still a Samsung Android. It's the S25. And I'm liking it so far. We got an upgraded phone. We bought a new laptop because we had Windows 10 and that you can't use that anymore. Haven't even taken it out of the box yet. Just a second. He's working on the slide out now. Okay, there he goes. So I haven't even opened that and figured it out at all because I haven't had a chance to sit down when I still have brain power. So I'm hoping that that'll make my live videos better. I hope that they'll stream video, like when we're doing the unboxings and it's my turn. I'm hoping that the new computer will be faster and better picture quality and all that stuff. So it's just been a lot of last minute things. We're going to be gone for a while, so we wanted to make sure and have everything. Like we wanted to get the computer and the phones while we're here. And, several trips back and forth to the storage unit. So it's been kind of crazy. But I finished that blanket, and I am trying to participate in Laura from Mamie's Crochet and Farming in her new crochet along, which is what's in a name. So you have to find a pattern with your name in the title of the pattern. If you can't find a pattern that you want to make with your name in it, then you have to design your own pattern. And I was very excited for this. Of course, there's no patterns with my name. Well, there are a few, but none that I wanted to make. I wanted to make a cowl for my daughter. I bought this yarn at a local yarn store in Michigan. Let me show it to you. I bought 3 skeins of this. It was $12 a skein. It's Woven Art Yarn Shop. And this is Supreme Red 509. It is Supreme Cotton Supreme Universal Yarn. It is cotton and red. I'm trying to see. It's 15 ounces, 180 yards, 100 grams, 165 meters, medium 4. It's soft. It's like, I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby, kind of soft. Stuff like that. Not like kitchen cotton, like you use for hot pants. Not that kind of cotton. Amanda loves red. That is her favorite color. She loves to wear red. It looks good on her. And I wanted for fall and winter to make, and Christmas, I wanted to give it to her for Christmas. I want to make her a cowl. I'm thinking, what do they call that? Where it goes in the figure 8. I want to say numulus. You know, it's in the figure 8 all by itself. I watched a couple of videos on how to do it. The one from Nastasia says, I think she's chaining 64, and she's using acrylic, and you kind of measure around here, but she's doing the, you know, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 kind of stitch in hers. That's not the stitch I want to use. I watched Fiber Spider, and I found a stitch pattern from Fiber Spider that I totally love. It's called the Cabbage Stitch, or Cabbage Patch Stitch, and I really love it. And he has, I think, I know I'm not saying the name right. You know me, I make up my own. But he has the figure 8 shawl, but not in this Cabbage Patch Stitch. He just does a tutorial on the stitch, and you can make whatever you want out of it. So this was going to be, I was going to call it Lynette's Gift, because I have to make up my own pattern. Well, I couldn't figure out how to do the twist thing that Natasha, she explains it really well, but I didn't do it in the right time. So I thought, well, I'll just crochet the thing and then I will twist it. So I started, I watched Fiber Spider. His stitch pattern is multiples of 4 plus 7. So I did that, and I crocheted like 128 plus 7. Which is twice as big as what Nastasia did with hers. And I measured it around my shoulders, the chain, and it went around my shoulders. Amanda's not as big as me, so it'll be fine. Well, then I crocheted, and now I have 3 things. This is what I have. It does not show, like, it would have to be blocked so you see the lace in the stitch pattern. And it's like a twist in here. And you just can't see it in this yarn. I would imagine if you block it, you could see it. But I know my daughter is not going to wash it and block it. And so, and it's, this is a 4-weight yarn, and I used a 6mm hook, which is what Fiber Spider used. It's not showing my pattern. And when you put it together to make it into a circle, you're not twisting that thing and going around anything. It's way too small now. Again, my sizing is always an issue. So I've decided I love the stitch. I love the idea of the shawl that I want to make. Cowl, whatever it is. Not with this yarn. So now I don't know what to do. But I will tell you, so this yarn comes in a hank. I do have a Swift. I do have a ball winder. I do not have them in the camper. I don't buy hanked up yarn that often because usually yarn in the hank is wool and I can't use wool. So I thought, again, when you're traveling and living in a 28-foot box, some things you just, even if they're small, say, no, I'm not going to carry that with me. The Swift and the ball winder were also things that I wasn't going to carry with me. So I needed to ball up my yarn. So what did I do? I was very proud of myself. We were driving in the car, going out to dinner yesterday to meet my younger son for dinner. We had a very nice time. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even think about the fact that I had all 3 skeins in their hanks in my little bag I got from Ice Yarn. And I'm like, shoot, how am I going to do this? Oh, so I unhanked it, and I have it in this big circle. And I'm like, I need to put this over something. I used the visor. I flipped down the visor. I hung the hank, the big circle of yarn around the visor. And then I could just do it like this. And I would unwind a couple of times and then flip the visor up so it couldn't slide off. And wind it up into my ball. Where'd my ball go? Here it is. So then I'd wind that up into the ball, and then I lower the visor a little bit, unwind a couple more rounds of circle, roll it up into the ball. Worked out great. It wasn't in Roy's way. It wasn't falling off because I could just, flip the visor back up. And I will again insert a picture here. I'm like, that is the funnest and coolest thing. I think I was very ingenious with that and very proud of myself for coming up with that idea. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't have, all the yarn that I have with me has a specific purpose. This yarn was purchased to make a cowl for Amanda. It's soft. I don't know if I need to find another pattern. I know that it will soften when you wash it too. I know that it'll even soften more. But the whole blocking thing, she's not ever going to do that. And then I really want to use this stitch pattern. So I don't know if I might, I really don't want to stop and buy more yarn. And I think it would look better, this stitch pattern and the whole cowl, if I did this stitch pattern. I don't know how to turn it into the figure 8 thing from the get-go. Because you got to work around both sides. Unless I did this stitch on both sides. It's just a 2-row repeat. So you do this cluster, and then you do this, it's got this twisty part. So if I went around the whole thing and did the cluster, then you could just do the twist and then the cluster and then the twist. I think that could work. Obviously, it needs to be way bigger than 128 stitches with a 6mm hook. Or use a bigger hook, and maybe then the stitches would... I wanted to play with it more. I did this in just a little bit of time. The travel time, I could crochet on the way there to dinner, but I couldn't crochet on the way back. It was too dark, and I didn't know the stitch pattern well enough. So it was a half an hour on the way there that I crocheted, or less. The whole trip was less than 45 minutes, and I crocheted my chain, and I wound up my yarn. So I think I might take this out and try it with a 7mm hook and see if I get a better, more lacy look to it, like I want. So I think I'm going to pull this apart and just go with a bigger hook and just do a little sample and see if it gets what I want. I have 3 skeins of this yarn. If that isn't, and I figured I could, I thought, so what is that? 3, 18, 36, 46, almost 6,500, 6,600 yards. Right? Yeah, 246. Yeah, almost 600 yards. I mean, just for a cowl, I think that would be enough. If not, then I don't know. Then I don't know what to do again. It'll be enough. That'll be as big as it gets, probably. Unless it's only like 2 rows, then it'll be a scarf. So anyway, I'm going to try it with a bigger hook and see if I like it. And if I do, great. We'll just do that. If not, then I'm going to look for another yarn. Because I really like the stitch pattern. It was fun. It worked up well. Worked up quickly. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that. Suggestions and help would be great. Is anybody else doing that? Laura's, what's in a name? Then I really do have to name it. I might just go buy some I Love This Yarn in Christmas Red. And do it that way. We are going to the storage unit. I could look for red yarn. I think I have a big, huge skein of red. Or red and black. Which would be so, but I sure don't want to change every row colors. I don't want to do that. But I don't know. I'll see what I have in the storage unit. We are taking a ride there, so I can. But we just put so much more stuff in there, and now I can't even get to my yarn. I locked the yarn in. And like I said, all the yarn I have with me does have a place to be. So I don't know. I have decisions to make as far as this goes, and I only have till the end of the month to get this done. So I need to, I figured we're driving a lot. We leave here to go towards Washington, D.C. We're staying outside of Washington, D.C. for 2 or 3 nights, I think. Three nights, 4 days. Yeah. We're staying outside of D.C. I would love to see DC at night all lit up. I've been to DC before. We've never seen it all lit up at night, and I would love to just drive through and see that. Where we're staying is, I think, a 40-ish minute drive away from there. We've never seen the World War II monument. Roy's dad was in World War II, and we would like to see that. We saw it at the start, but not at the finish. And there's just, a million museums and things to do in DC. We've spent a week there, and we've seen a lot of the things. But we were it was in the summertime, and it got dark late, and we were back at our condos. We stayed in a condo. It was with our timeshare. And we were back there before dark. But I would love to get some video and pictures of all the monuments all lit up in DC, all lit up at night. With the government being closed, at least it's still closed as of today. I hope that you can even still do tours of DC. Just so many things to do there. We really haven't even scoped out what, other than we want to see the World War II museum and DC built up at night. Like the other museums we've been to, a lot of them, I don't know that and there's some I know I would not be able to handle. I cried a great deal of the time we were there last time. You know me, I have the waterfall behind the eyeballs. I was leaking the whole time. We saw the changing of the guard. We were at the Vietnam Memorial. We were at the Korean War Memorial where my grandfather was. So it was wonderful, but emotional for me. So we're going to try to not be emotional this time. So I don't know if we're going to hang out there a whole lot, but but we are going to try to do those things, and it's a several hour drive. So I have time to work on Lynette's gift to Amanda. I don't know what to call it. And I might just go on Ravelry and search for Lynn and see if there's patterns there and just do something totally different. But all the yarn that I have that I'm taking with me all has a specific, or it's a scrap for tumbleweeds or scrap gans or whatever. But other than that, all the yarn has a specific project that it's to go to, except for this. So we'll see what happens. I've been rambling on here for about 40 minutes, and it's got me all caught up with where we are. This is where we are for life now. We will do travel videos as we are traveling, and yarn videos as we have yarn. Boggy Creek videos, because that's the place of my heart. And I will see you guys in the next video. So thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, all of those things that YouTube loves. I love it too. And I appreciate you all so much for being here and hanging out with me all this time. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.